There's new information this hour about the suspect who is now charged with capital murder following the deaths of 10 people at the high school behind me on Friday. The grandmother of one of the suspect's best friends telling CNN her grandson was questioned by investigators on Friday night. Bertha Bland describes Dimitrios Pagorchis as a respectful and very intelligent young man who she says lived under the thumb of a strict Greek father. She says her grandson told investigators Pagorchis had told him he kept journals about his thoughts. She also says both boys showed an interest in guns and also played a lot of violent video games. She describes Dimitrios' mother as being very sweet. I want to bring in now Polo Sandoval, who has more on how the survivors are holding up. You've also spent some time at both a church service and following the memorials as well as folks here work up to that baccalaureate service today, Polo.
And that's happening right now, Erica, here at Arcadia First Baptist Church. We're only about a mile from where you are, just a mile away from where those shots rang out 2 days ago. And tonight, many of the members of the 2018 graduating class of Santa Fe High School are inside right now. The first speaker receiving a standing ovation just a little while ago. Tonight, it's the first time that many of these students may be seeing their friends since that shooting. This is obviously a very difficult time for these young men and women who woke up that Friday morning excited at the start of the graduating process, the ceremonies, the parties. There is still that celebratory mood, but I will tell you, obviously, this time is extremely different, as you're about to hear from Todd Padick, a graduating senior.
I can speak for all of us. It's kind of difficult to celebrate a graduation when so many people's lives were lost. Like, it kind of makes what we're going through, like, these families, they lost family. I was lucky enough, I didn't lose family that day. But there were people that lost family, and thinking about my circumstances, it's so small compared to what these people actually lost.
Todd, one of many students who we've been speaking to today here in the city that is still trying to come to terms with what happened. But, you know, that word, celebration, many of these students say that is actually part of the mourning. That is part of the healing, part of that long road to recovery that is ahead for this small Texas city. In the meantime, though, the first funeral was held for one of those victims, Sabika Sheikh. She's the foreign exchange student from Pakistan who was in the United States continuing her high school studies before her body was sent back to Pakistan to be laid to rest. A small goodbye ceremony that was held in Houston this morning, Erica.
All right, Polo, thank you. Of course, one of the questions that lingers is what would drive someone to do this. Earlier today, I sat down with the attorneys representing the 17-year-old suspect who is currently being held in solitary confinement.
You met with your client yesterday.
Correct.
How is he?
He's having a difficult time right now. I think he's in some kind of shock. It's going to be a while before I can tell you more. There's some professionals that are going to have to be brought in to do some evaluations, and but it's obviously difficult circumstances.
Is he remorseful?
We're not even there yet.
Is he aware that 10 people are dead?
I don't think we can answer that.
Yeah,
I don't think we know the answer to that yet.
We've had brief visitations with our client. I mean, 2 30-minute visitations, and he really hasn't been able to answer the questions. We're going to have to sit down for hours and ask him.
You said he hasn't been able to answer the questions. Has he been responsive, though? Is he actually, are you engaging in conversation with him?
We have had conversations, but we're telling him what he needs to do right now to get through the next few days. We're not asking him probing questions at this point.
Well, at this point, we don't have the information with which to even start asking those questions. I mean, the timing, this happening on a Friday and then a weekend where the information flow is really just what's in the media, nothing from the state. Once we start to begin that discovery process, we can start asking more intelligent questions.
Have you spoken with investigators at all?
We've spoken to the DA.
We've spoken with the DA's office.
The first assistant.
And so everything at this point has to wait till Monday?
It's going to wait till Monday.
In terms of what we do know, and a lot of this obviously is based on the affidavit, in that affidavit, your client reportedly confessed to shooting, and I'm quoting here, multiple people with the intent to kill. Did he confirm that with you?
He has not confirmed that, and at this point, we don't have the information available to confirm what's in the PC affidavit.
So also in that affidavit is that he intentionally spared people he, quote, liked so they could tell his story.
Same answer. We don't know at this point if that is accurate or not.
The mother of one of the victims, 16-year-old Shayna Fisher, told us at CNN that she believes her daughter was specifically targeted because she rebuffed his advances. Were people targeted?
We have spoken to the DA's office to try to get a little bit of information on that when that story broke yesterday. Right now we don't have anything, and the DA doesn't have anything to either confirm or deny that.
There were also reports of bullying that were put out, and the school district came out pretty strongly against those reports, saying, we've investigated, this didn't happen. Has any of that come up in conversations with either your client or his family?
Well, there has been some conversations on that. We need to delve into it more. But the other problem is the school district doesn't say how they investigated it, when they investigated it. If they investigated it after the shooting happened, that's a really short investigation.
Do you believe that it may have been reported prior to the shooting?
We're not sure. We don't have that information yet.
What's interesting about that Santa Fe statement is, again, it was released just a little bit more than 24 hours after. At this point, there are no indications they actually spoke to the student survivors that were reporting this bullying and reporting it to the media in the last couple of days. Without talking to them, I'm not sure how Santa Fe could be in a position to strongly deny or I think they use the words confirm the untruth of it. I don't know how they could be saying that at this point. It'll be interesting to learn as we go forward what exactly that investigation consisted of.
They, in that statement though, they actually reference coaches. So they reference
Correct.
high school coaches.
Correct.
Not just students.
Correct.
So do you believe that they have not done their due diligence in terms of speaking with those coaches?
We don't know. We don't know what they did. That was a very short statement.
So that more from the attorneys there. There have been a lot of questions about the investigation and the lack of information. That is all changing right now. Our colleague Rosa has some new reporting in from the county sheriff here. What are you learning?
Erica, we finally have more information regarding what happened inside Santa Fe High School. Now, this is from the Galveston County Sheriff. He says that this shooting lasted about 30 minutes. Now, 4 minutes into the shooting, that's when officers arrived and they engaged the shooter. Then hear this. There was a 25-minute gun battle. And when I say gun battle, we clarified this. There was crossfire. There was a section of crossfire there. So the big question, of course, and I'm sure this is what you're thinking as well, so all of those victims, were they shot by the shooter or were they caught in the crossfire? When we asked the sheriff to clarify, he said that we were going to have to wait for the autopsies, for the medical examiner to conduct these autopsies before we learn that specific answer, which of course is extremely concerning to you, the viewer, to everyone, to us as journalists trying to learn more and answer those questions for the public and of course for the families of the victims.
All right, Rosa, important reporting there. Thank you. I know they also told you they have a number of cameras in that school and they are trying to place together that video as well.